Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rooted Sports Psychology Podcast. I'm your host, Georgia Miller, giving athletes and performers simple tools and game-changing perspectives to help elevate their performance. Thanks for tuning in. Grayson Miller is back with us to continue our Miller Siblings series. And this week, we're going to be talking about getting ready for preseason camp as camp starts up around the country in the next couple of weeks for all of our fall sports. Started last week for NFL. It starts next week for some college football teams. Grayson has an awesome perspective on how to get ready and prepare yourself physically and mentally for these camps. And I can offer my value of getting ready for a camp at a smaller school as well. And for those of you who weren't here on the first couple of episodes, Grayson played football at Michigan State University, so he has a lot of value and perspective to offer us. So, Grayson, let's dive right into this. When you were getting ready for Michigan State camp, let's talk senior year going into your freshman year. So your rookie season, your first camp ever. What are some of the things that you were really doing physically to get yourself prepared? What do you remember from that summer?
That's probably the most anxiety filled time of my life. You have no idea what you're walking into, right? Going into college sports, no matter what level it is, it's going to be a lot harder than what you were just doing in high school. And I didn't play my senior year of high school football. So it had been essentially since my junior year that I had really ramped up and played football. So the biggest thing for me, I treated myself very well. I ate well. I slept well. I wasn't doing a whole lot of extracurriculars at that point. It was kind of just making sure I felt great the next day, trying to have as clear of a mind as possible, because honestly, I was just filled with so much anxiety and unknowing of what was coming, and trying to just be as prepared as possible. But honestly, a lot of it was making up these crazy scenarios in my head that honestly didn't quite come to fruition. But your freshman year, rookie year, first year, it's always the worst. The unknown is the worst, and you have no routine, and you don't know how you're going to handle any of that stuff.
That's what I hear from my athletes a lot, is all of these what ifs and unknowns and expectations that they're setting going into camp. But it sounds like you try to channel that energy and just throw it into all of your preparation. Like you were very focused on the little things, like your nutrition, your sleeping, and even just having some sort of routine. How do you feel like that summer routine really just helped you feel even more prepared and confident going into camp?
I just thought that I got my body into a place, especially being hurt the year before, that I knew I was at my peak physical condition. So whatever was going to happen with the actual football, it was going to at least my body was prepared. I was either going to be good enough or I wasn't going to be good enough, right? When you're anxious, it's probably because you feel unprepared. And that's like anything, like a test or a presentation or a game, anything like that. So that was like the only thing that I could control. But when you don't know anything, you don't know the playbook, that was the only thing I could control. So that's just what I decided on. And I was glad for it, considering just how difficult it kind of is on your body that first go around.
Right. So better to go in over prepared versus under prepared.
Yeah.
I think all athletes are going to be nervous and have some anxiety around camp, especially their first one when you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
So putting all of your attention on what's in my control, what can I do right now to best prepare myself for camp, you're allowing yourself to just focus on your preparation when you get there, knowing that you did everything that you possibly can. That way the outcomes will naturally follow. But you're going to be nervous. So a great way to help with that is to just really lock in on everything in your control, like all those little things too, what you're eating, how you're fueling yourself. I know for women and men, it's going to be different, but for men, were you like trying to gain weight and put on muscle? Like, were you making sure that you were like overloading yourself with calories to do that?
Well, that didn't really start before camp for me. I always was very comfortable at the walking around weight that I liked. I'm not an overeater. Like I've never been. I don't like overeating. I don't like that feeling of just stuffing yourself, and that, like the way that some people have to keep their weight. I'm sure some of the athletes that you work with, particularly like freshman offensive linemen, what they have to do. But during camp, you do need to eat more just because you're working so hard, and the two practices and the walkthroughs and trying to stay awake in meetings. Like the only way you can do that is if you have energy, and that's food. That kind of comes naturally. I tried not to break too much or get into too much of a camp routine prior to that, because camp in itself is a very unique space. So it's kind of hard to replicate like those nuances each day when you're not quite in it yet.
And I like to tell my athletes, like, have your priorities, have your routine of like working out every day, but also make sure you're doing your best to be present with where you're at, your home, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, go on
Mm-hmm.
vacation, do your best to enjoy that. And that's actually something that I wanted to ask you because we went on a lot of summer vacations growing up and we had to get ready for our camps. You were going to Michigan State, I was going to Alma. And so, what were some of the things that you remember us doing on vacation to help balance out the relaxing, but also making sure we were in shape? Because I know a lot of my athletes who are going on vacation, they stress and they worry about that. Oh, I'm not going to be practicing all the time and working out all the time. I'm going to lose all my endurance.
It's a great question. I mean, it's a little different for me than for you, right? Because I was there training all summer, right? So we would always have one full week vacation around July 4th. I knew very well that I couldn't take that. You can't take that fully off, right? I could take an hour. Probably if I was gone for a week, I probably did it 4 or 5 times. We were lucky. We did that with a lot of extended family, a lot of cousins who were not athletes in college, but they were serious about working out. So I was able to go to the track one day and do sprints with my cousins. And one day I was able to go run hills. One day our older cousin, Kevin, he owned a gym. And so he could put me through a lot of different workouts. But we didn't do it over an hour. And I think to answer your question on what athletes can do, if you're serious about or you have anxiety about staying in shape while you're on vacation, then just go do something each morning. That's the simplest solution. You don't need to do a full training session, but you can slap on some shoes. You can do your stretching, do a dynamic warm up, do some jumping jacks, whatever it is, and then either go run some sprints or go on a jog, whatever fills your cup, right? And by the time you come back, your body is probably going to thank you for taking off some of the sport specific movements and just keeping your endurance up a little bit and getting a sweat each day. You're not losing a step by not going through a full sport specific workout while you're with your family. Like you're going to be better by putting your time towards your vacation and your family.
Right. And relaxing, taking your mind off. It actually helps you
Right.
miss sport a little bit more. But
Yes.
knowing that I'm doing what I can to stay in shape and just feel better about myself, feel conditioned. Take an hour to do that. And I also liked what you said. We would ask our cousins, our family to go work out with us. I think that made it so much easier. Everybody was kind of in on it. So that's something good for all athletes to do is ask a friend, another family member, hey, can we hit up the gym a couple days a week or something? But having that accountability partner helps a lot too. And I remember for our team for volleyball, we would have almost like accountability buddies, and we had a big sprint test every year that we would have to do getting ready for camp. You probably remember running that with me
Yeah.
a few times.
Yes, I do.
That produced a lot of anxiety because it was
Mm-hmm.
so hard. I felt like the more I did it, it just did not get easier. As I would be texting my best friends on the team and we would just be talking about it and knowing that they're in it and struggling with it too, that just helped me because I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one here. So definitely having somebody that you can go to work out with, even just to text about your workouts with to hold you accountable, that just helps ease some anxiety going into camp as well.
Definitely. That's the best thing is that everybody's in the same boat. Whoever you're all wishing that you could be on vacation or with your families a little bit longer. But what that's just kind of the, fear of missing out or the fear of time running out type thing. Once you're back and you're in it, you're good.
Yeah, and I call those like anticipation nerves for my athletes who are getting ready for camp right
Yeah.
now. Like you're just
Hmm.
a little eager to get it started. You're anticipating it happening, and then it's really easy for them to get lost in all those. Well, what if I don't have a good start? What if I perform bad? But it's really important to remind them once you get into a routine and you're settled, everything will be fine. But what is it right now? What's everything that you can do right now to set you up for success and to prepare for that? I think that's a great question that always brings them back into the moment in the present. I'm working out and eating right. And that just helps to ease some nerves into it.
That's right. And for me, each camp kind of had something different of what I was nervous about. Like my junior year camp, my nerves by no means were actually going to camp and playing football. I was very excited about that. I just knew, I knew my hamstring was going to go. It hadn't gotten right all summer. So, what are the things that I could have prepped in July? I did everything that I could. I left it all out there. And by the end of camp, I blew out my hammy. Like it, and that's not to scare anybody. I did everything I could. And if, as long as you do that, you can't feel bad about it, right? I didn't have that problem sophomore year. I didn't have that problem senior year. So it changes year to year as you gain knowledge of your sport, knowledge of your coach's routines. You gain confidence, like the anticipation nerves. I like that. I don't like the word anxieties a little much, right? So the anticipation nerves just change. Like you start thinking about different things.
So, what are some fun things about camp that athletes can look forward to? I feel like we're talking about how hard it is and preparing yourself physically for it, but also what are some good things that they can look forward to, especially if they're a freshman going into college?
When I was in camp, I'm not quite sure how things are still going in college football, but we all got to move into the dorm and we all lived with each other for the first 2 weeks of camp. And it it is something very unique when you wake up at 6:30 every day and you go to meetings, you go to your practice, you go to dinner, and then you go back and everybody just kind of gets to kick their feet up and talk about the day. Like guys are playing video games, guys are playing cards, just hanging out and talking and trying to come up with something for the next day, to get everybody through, right? Those are things like me and my friends still like talk about and laugh about, like how ridiculous some of those dorm days were. That kind of camaraderie, and not to like wish away camp or anything, but like that feeling you get when you get to the end is so great, and that you're finally going to go play a game when they let you off for that first 4-day weekend is just that is a euphoric feeling.
It's so
It's
rewarding.
the work is rewarded with
Yeah.
what that feeling and what you get at the end, and then the start of a season, right? That's the those are great things that I would never trade those memories.
Yeah, and there's great team bonding. You get to be basically a professional athlete for all of camp because you don't have to worry about school, at least for fall sports here. You don't worry about school. You get to move in early and just play your sport and get to know your teammates.
Yes,
All of that is so much fun. And whether you're, having a great time or you're bonding over an insanely hard workout, I mean, mutual suffering is still team bonding.
some of the best. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's still something that me and my best friends and teammates we talk about to this day. I mean, those are the things that you don't really forget.
the mutual suffering. Yes, and that's coaches know what they're doing. Like they know what builds team. They know what builds people together. Right.
Talking about like the physical aspect a lot, but really it truly is all mental preparation. They make the workouts and tests so hard that way you're pushing yourself through it because at the
Yeah.
end it's so rewarding. You feel more resilient, you feel more confident, you're more focused. It really is preparing you not only physically but so much more mentally than you realize in the moment, especially that whole summer leading up to it.
Definitely. And because you have that whole summer leading up to it, I always felt once you got to like day 3 and you kind of got that like first day soreness out of you, that that was like, okay, I'm in it only at camp. You don't want to be anywhere else. You're not really talking to anybody else. And that's kind of what immerses you in everything, like the good things that we just talked about, right? There's very few people who are that miserable when you're going through camp, like because you kind of get conditioned with everybody around you. It is what it is. This is the present moment. This is what I have to do.
And when you're finding that bigger perspective of looking at your dream, well, this is my dream to play in college, I think
Right.
that helps too, right? Like, would you want it any other way? No.
Right. So few people that you meet outside of this have ever experienced anything like that. Right. Doesn't matter the level. Doesn't matter the level at all of college athletics, let alone professional. Right. So few people know what we just described, and us kind of laughing about it and giggling about it. And to your athletes who listen to this, and like you thinking even about even at your high school level, or some of you who are in college, like you're able to nod along and be like, yeah, you're right. It kind of sucks going in, and then it's a good time, right?
Yeah, yeah. And going a little off topic here, but that's why companies and businesses love hiring athletes out of college because we know what discipline is, we know what hard work is, we know how to stay committed to something and wake up early even when maybe we don't feel like it. We know how to work well with others who maybe get on our nerves.
Yeah.
There's so many transferable skills that we can take with us outside of it. And a lot of that is just developed in camp. It's that mental fortitude and the resilience and perseverance.
Right.
There anything else that you can offer up to athletes who are getting ready to attack camp the next couple of weeks, Grayson?
Nothing other than just control what you can control going in. Camp has ups and downs. It's long for a reason. One bad play, practice, scrimmage is not the end of your season by any way, shape, or form. Okay? The people who are starters at the end of camp are not always the starters at the end of a season. Your season is not over if camp doesn't go exactly your way. Take it from me. I saw both sides of that in college. You'll remember a lot more of the good memories with your teammates and the hard things that you go through than I can't point to one bad practice or play that I beat myself up over in college. I don't remember one, but I sure do remember the nights hanging out with the guys like in the dorm, getting ready for practice the next day, right? Those are my leaving words for on camp.
Great leaving words. And if any athletes out there want more help preparing for their camp, please feel free to reach out to my email, georgia@rootedsportspsychcoach.com, or call in at 786-833-8585. Grayson, thank you for tuning in. Another Miller Siblings series episode, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, George.